Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and now that my 2 informative videos are done for the day, including a high volume pause squat workout for you guys, that you can check out if you're interested in seeing that, it's time to talk about current events in the online fitness community. So let me put on my +5 hat of weaponsmithing, work on skilling up my crafting a little bit, and let's talk about some of this. You know, and I am going to single out a couple individuals here, but you know what? It's not just about those guys, it's about the whole trend in general, because we see an enormous number of basically unqualified, completely unworthy individuals selling training programs on the internet today, don't we? I mean, we see chicks who do one bikini show and place 12th, who all of a sudden they have a program they have out for sale, who've been lifting for 2 or 3 years. You know that there's memes joking about that. Start lifting, do show, meal plans and training programs available. There's memes about that. That's how bad it's gotten. It's scary that people buy it. And you know, even we take some of the YouTubers out right now. That's something I said a while back that I was really shocked. Like I remember calling out then even AlphaDestiny, because you guys remember he used to be a nut hugger of mine. He followed my channel religiously, rode my coattails in my comments all the time, all the time. And then he got upset when I called out people for buying programs, just in general. And it turned out he was charging $50 for programs, and he got indignant about it and everything else. And I think that's kind of where we started to have problems, he and I. Because then he went crazy with stuff. And that's a kid who had started to build a strength base, right? He started building a strength base, following my channel. And then he just went off into crazy field, and he's weaker now than he was back then. He was weaker now than he was when he was taking my advice. But people don't realize that because his followers are too ignorant about training to understand that he's doing show-off lists. He's actually weaker today than he used to be. He's weaker than he was 2 years ago. But here's the point we come to with a lot of this. I can understand how Mike Rashid could convince someone to write a program. I don't know if Mike Rashid sells programs, but you take Rashid. I can see how he would be able to sell workout programs, and people would pay for them because they would look at the guy, and they wouldn't factor in he's genetically blessed and on plenty of gear, but they'd look at the guy and go, okay, dude's big, dude's jacked, dude gets pretty ripped, he squats 500 pounds, because we've seen him squat. He built up to a 500-pound squat on camera using the same program I built mine to 500 with last time on camera. Same program. Got benches over 400 pounds, and he's jacked. You know, a lot of people, I could see how that person, people would say, okay, he might know what he's talking about. All right, without looking objectively at his knowledge, I could see that. But people will buy programs from people who don't really have the experience or the knowledge to really be selling programs. And I mean, so it's again, guys like AlphaDestiny and Kinobody. Because take Kinobody. Kinobody pretty much stole all of Martin Birkin's work. All his early stuff, he just stole it from Birkin. And when I said that before, Martin came into my video comments and thanked me for saying it, because it's true. Martin kind of had his own revolutionary thing in the online fitness world, but he did it all as a blog. He sold training services, but he had free diet advice, and he had free programs in his blog. And his programs are very simple, because realistically, sorry, but most of you don't need a complex program. If you haven't put on your first 20 pounds of muscle, you haven't got your bench to 2 plates aside for reps, your deadlift to 4 plates aside for reps, you don't need a complex program. You don't need to worry about things like various assistance and isolation movements. All right, you don't need to worry about concurrent training or periodization. You don't need to worry about any of that stuff. All right, that is a non-factor for you. You're not even close to needing any of that stuff. And Martin said that and knew that. He knew that. And that's why his stuff worked. Kinobody saw that Martin had put all this free stuff out and just stole all of his stuff. And that's what he used to kind of launch what he was doing. You know, and then he starts selling programs, and then you look, he doesn't even know how to perform a bench press. Let that sink in. The guy's been training for years. Does he squat at all? He doesn't squat. Strap-on doesn't squat either. All right, doesn't squat. And that's okay, not everyone squats, but doesn't know how to perform a bench press. Uses the bench press regularly. He doesn't even know how to unrack the bar correctly. Let that sink in. A guy is selling programs who has no real practical experience, no real knowledge of training, and doesn't know how to perform a bench press correctly, or doesn't even know how to unrack the bar. All right? But he's selling training programs and people are buying them. That's scary. Is that much better than the people who are buying programs from a bikini competitor who's been lifting for 2 years? No. And I'm not saying people can't learn a fair amount of knowledge in 2 or 3 years. You can. But to think that you have the accolades or the knowledge to literally write training programs that are good enough to sell when you have less than 5 years of coaching other people, I disagree. I don't think anyone with less than 5 years of coaching experience that anyone should ever buy a workout program from them. I would argue that buying workout programs is stupid in and of itself. Amazing programs are free already. But I digress. So you look at all that and you've got to wonder. Same thing, you take Strap-On Destiny. Had a little knowledge, started building a solid foundation, and then went crazy with all his trying to mix West Side theory from the conjugate method with whatever this like Eric Burgeon or something, I'm not sure of his name, his smaller YouTube channel, mixing their stuff all together while screaming about, oh, he doesn't like conventional training. People are calling it a cookie cutter training. Well, it works. Doesn't like conventional training and talking about how training minimalism is terrible while he's talking about lifting 2 days a week. What he means by minimalism is minimal exercise selection, and that does work. And the irony of that, people talking about minimalist training not working even for natties are clearly unfamiliar with Starting Strength or 531, two of the most widely used programs in existence, and they are minimalist programs. Minimalist programs in terms of exercise selection. They have got tons of people really big and really strong without drugs. In fact, there are plenty of people who've used both of those programs who are natties who are bigger and stronger than either of these guys. Let that sink in. I promise you can get a hold of either of these programs for less than $50. They're superior to anything either of these guys have ever produced. Written by people with more practical experience, both themselves training and coaching other people, than either of these guys will have even 20 years from now. Again, let that sink in. Now, some people say, well, isn't your novice program, which is free, I don't charge for it, it's free. Isn't it an alternative to Starting Strength? Yeah, for guys who are pursuing slightly more aesthetic type goals. That's the irony of that. I wrote it as a size building program, because some guys felt their upper body didn't get enough volume, didn't get enough attention. A lot of younger, really young guys with high testosterone levels and high recovery were complaining there just wasn't enough work in Starting Strength for them. Okay? And I can understand that. Some people can handle a heavier workload than that, because that program was written to work for everyone from high school football players who have to do a lot of practice and everything to 60-year-old moms. 60-year-old grandmothers, and it works for a wide variety of people. Some of these guys wanted more volume for more overall hypertrophy, so it falls in line with similar style programs to Strong Lift, Starting Strength, all those, but I threw in a lot of extra work and adjusted things enough to cater to that crowd, and then I put it out for free. All right, guys, I don't sell that program. It's free, and that's the difference. That's the difference. Yet, my free program there, Starting Strength, 531, any of those are vastly superior to any of the crap these silly kids are putting out. These guys don't have the experience. They don't have the knowledge to actually be writing programs. They don't have a strong enough understanding of training programming to be putting out programs. But the thing is, they con people into stuff. And I mean, again, Strap-On, I've seen some of the stuff. I saw a blog he wrote, apparently, about that I came across. And yeah, he really doesn't have a firm enough grasp on training philosophy to be writing programs for people. And it's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. That, again, people are willing to pay money, pay actual money for programs from people like this who just don't have the knowledge to do that when there's so many good free programs out there. It doesn't make sense. It's as bad as people who go hire a personal trainer who doesn't lift. It's just as bad. Not much difference there ultimately. Alright guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.